Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
If you've been hurt in a road accident that wasn't your fault, you should really talk to G4 Claims first. Unlike road accident solicitors, we don't charge you for our services, which could see you better off. To keep 100% of your compensation, have a chat with Nicole and the team. You'll be glad you did. Search online for G4 Claims.
Keep 100% of your claim. G4 Claims.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sellik the Thunder podcast. We're on to episode 151 of the series, and I'm joined today by the two regular faces, those who have been here from episode 1, starting with the man to my right, Mr. Kieran Auld. Kieran, how are you doing?
It's very good. I was just thinking there about how long it's been now since we were able to say like kit numbers or even what was it we were doing at the end of, like before we got to 100, was it like
top scorers or
top
something?
scorer for like the 97,
right.
98 season and that, and we'll come up with something new. Here we are 52 episodes later, nothing new.
To be fair, what else was there we could have possibly done? Like players who made 52 appearances for Celtic.
We could have came up with something completely different altogether, but
if you've got any ideas, feel free to fire them in. A nice wee starting teaser. It's good to get the brain running. Our brains are not running.
Nah. I'm just thinking, we used to in the wee teaser at the start, in school we used to get, what was it, the lessons
The
start?
lesson start. God, that's actually taking me back. Cheers, Kieran. I'm going to be greeting by the end of the episode. And joining us as well on the end of the table is Mr. Calum Craig. How are you?
Yeah, okay, good mate. Busy week and whatnot and work, so it's kind of flown by, and we've all got a nice weekend ahead of us. So
I know. I'm looking for. We've got a big. I don't know how
Family
party. It's like one big family. We're all pretty excited here. So if you don't hear from us next Thursday, it's probably because we've taken it too far. But hopefully we'll have recovered by then.
Fucking better. Saturday.
We've got a Sellik game on Wednesday as well, you know. Yeah. Quite a lot to cover, actually. We've got a big episode ahead of us. We were saying, like, today felt like one of those episodes where there's no, like, loads to talk about, but when you dumb it down, there is quite a bit. Europa League starts next week. You know, we've got the Cup this weekend. We've had the ongoing fan action. So we'll try and cover all grounds. Thank you for your support throughout the start of this season. And if you're listening on YouTube, make sure to hit like and subscribe. If you're listening on Spotify, please make sure to hit the follow button as well. Thunder Club members, we will be live over the weekend as well with the next episode, which today I've decided to focus on players who have either surpassed or never lived up to your expectations, because of course Michel-Ange Balikwisha has joined, hasn't really hit the ground running. Sebastian Tenetke has came in and he looks the part. Has he surpassed the expectations we had of him? We'll soon see. So we're going to talk about that today in the Thunder Club. You can join and become a member for that later. But let's just start up with a general catch up on all things Celtic. And I thought we'd maybe just touch briefly on the protests at the weekend. We had the first of the fan action going against the board. We had the 12 minutes, which was observed pretty well. 75% of the away supporters who were present at Kilmarnock took part, 3,000 out of the 4,000 fans. And now, as I understand, the meetings are taking place behind the scenes to see what comes next. But a good start at the weekend, Kieran.
It's nice to see, as you said, hearing that is as high as 75%. It shows the discontent, and especially we came away for that meeting last week saying, like, you heard the viewpoints of the people that were like the holdouts, they weren't going to do it and stuff, and you were wondering how that was going to translate into actual numbers in the stands. But I mean, for the most part, it certainly sent the message, I think. I mean, it obviously would have been perfect if you had nobody in that stand, but I think even having like 25% of the stand being full sends a big enough message as is. But I mean, it is just a starting point, and I think that is important to remember. That is the first in a series of escalations or actions taken against the board, but it's encouraging to see.
It is. And Calum, of course, we saw the images live in the sky, and that's where you want to make your message clear. You want to drill it across, you want to do it in front of cameras, you want Sky to go, hold on, we want fans in the ground, we want the place to look full. And then at one point, you know, they panned the cameras to the men in question. They panned the cameras to Michael Nicholson, they panned the cameras to Chris Mackay. Peter Lawwell wasn't present. Of course, there's been rumours ever since that maybe he's away. We don't know that yet, but we saw their faces, and they clearly looked uncomfortable, in my opinion anyway. So, you know, this is something that we can keep doing, and if we keep making them uncomfortable, hopefully it will change something.
Definitely. You hope this is kind of the first step in the right direction in terms of getting those folk that are higher up within the club moved on and moved elsewhere. It was actually, I didn't realise it was as high, just as Kieran and yourself touched on, I didn't realise it was as high as 75%. Until obviously then it must have been about maybe 20-25 minutes into the game, you seen the photos surfacing on Twitter, and it was everybody kind of outside and such. But no, for one of the ones, it feels like it's a long way to continue.
I mean, the photos were class to see. You know, that concourse area at Rugby Park, which we're familiar with, we've been to, it was stowed. And it feels like there has been a bit of online debate. I've seen people who weren't there who were saying, oh, certain fans should be ashamed of themselves for not joining in. Then you get the ones that weren't there either saying, oh, the ones that did join in don't properly support the team. But by my own understanding, at the ground it was impeccably observed between both that there wasn't any kind of back and forth, there wasn't any kind of arguments. And I think, Calum, that just kind of drills the point across that, you know, you can't live online, and it's also going to be a process where you hope to eventually win everybody over, but there is going to be a divisive nature to any form of uncomfortable protest. That's part and parcel of what you're doing, but to see how well it was observed and how well behaved everything turned out to be as well, I think that's a big massive thumbs up for the fans as well. Definitely.
I think it's the fact that obviously we sat here last week and we kind of spoke about it, to actually see kind of there's not that you should be ashamed you're not doing it, you should be doing everything for this. It's nice that folk say that's fine if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it, you're not pressured into anything. It's nice that both kind of groups within the fans can do their own thing for it. But yeah, just kind of hope that it can continue in that fashion and it keeps well.
On that note, actually, a big shout out to our friends from up the stair, a pint and 2 shots, who gave me a wee shout out on their show recently with you and Cameron. We're talking about fan media, and we'll maybe come on to a bit of conversation surrounding that because Jim White had an awful lot to say about fan media.
I've only seen like the wee clip where you and Cameron's talking about Jim White, so I've not seen any.
So basically, you know, Toll on the lead up to that gave us a wee bit of shout out because we film in here, and he was saying that he enjoys the fact that I was putting across, like, let's make sure scab mentality doesn't exist, and obviously that was drilled in at that meeting, like, that's not part of the aim. So shout out today, guys, great podcast, hell of a lot of respect for them. But Kieran, one thing we haven't had since the protest on Sunday is any form of communication from the club. We've not had any response to acknowledge that there was a meeting that took place. We've not had a response to suggest they know that there's a democratic fan body being put together. We haven't had the response to the numerous votes of no confidence, and the protest is just one of the most recent examples of those lines of, you know, things that have happened. So the club's still silent, cowardly.
I mean, to no surprise is probably the way to put it, because even though, I mean, it was something that was spoke about last week in depth by ourselves, we knew that the first step was just that, it's a first step. We weren't expecting even if, like, in our wildest dreams, you wouldn't think that one protest at the game was going to spur them into action straight away and they were going to go out and apologise, hold their hands up and resign. That was just never going to happen. In a perfect world it does, but I'm afraid not. But it's frustrating that you continue to get this silence, but it comes as no surprise to anybody that they're doubling down on it essentially by keeping their silence. And you know their mentality right now will be, well, if they're doing that, we're just going to no do it. Like, we're not going to be bullied into it, is the sort of mentality that you imagine the people in the higher ups at Celtic have. And it's something we all know, that they have that derogatory thinking towards the supporter. I'm not going to be told what to do. But
what do you think pushes them into, because they can't ignore it forever, especially if these protests keep happening and banners keep getting put up, and eventually you would like to think that their pockets take a hurting.
Yeah.
Like, what will actually is it going to be purely financial? That kind of moment.
I mean, people always say, but money is what these guys thinking. It's what translates over to them. That's what's going to make them take notice. But even when you think of these wee protests that are happening at games and that, it is. I mean, as somebody put it about the Chinese drip tops, we maybe wouldn't use that phrasing myself. But I get the sentiment behind it. Like every wee bit is going to keep building up and building up. So it is going to wear away at them eventually.
Aye.
Like, just for sheer persistence, but obviously, as we spoke about, it will be like escalatory actions.
Aye. There's a lot of action yet to come. I think, as far as I'm aware, I am in. There has been a sort of group chat created of all the fan media outlets, and there's kind of updates put in there about what's going on behind the scenes, and especially with this fan advisory board that's been set up. There is ongoing talks about that. The fan board has been put together, I believe, as well. So hopefully we're going to have more statements and such coming out soon. But yeah, it's not going to get any easier for them, Calum, because we're hearing that. Well, we don't need to hear nothing. We know that the next potentially 7 days, maybe even next week, Celtic have to release their financial statement for the end of the fiscal year, or the end of whatever. Not the fiscal year, but whatever they work in, their September to September statement. And that's the one that contains, this is how much I've got in the bank, this is how much we've made, this is how much we've made off player sales, merchandise, this is the turnover. All of that's got to come out. And that's going to make things worse, especially, there's talk, I think one of the journalists, the local journalist who's quite in the loop, suggests that this potentially could come out and say Celtic have £100 million lying in the bank. That's just going to kick up fuck. I mean, how did the board even begin to handle that? Because it's just going to rise all up again. Oh,
it's an absolute mess of a situation. But again, in an ideal world, it would be a case of one or two of them step down to try and shade away from the fact of that. But it's never going to happen. It's a case of, is anybody going to come out and actually take ownership of it once it's then come out? As we've seen the other week with that statement that came out, and there was no name branded with it. I can see them being very sheepish.
Well, you answered the next question I was actually going to ask you. I was like, do you think, because usually there's a chairman's statement that comes out with it, the chairman, Mr. Lawwell, is he going to acknowledge it? Because that's going to be the first piece of communication that has a name attached to it. The chairman's statement has to have a name attached to it. Do you expect Peter Lawwell to put any form of apology in there, any form of explanation in there, or do you think it's just going to be, here's the numbers, we're cracking at business, see you later?
I think it'll be as simple as that.
I was going to say, it would probably fit in a post-it note.
Because usually the chairman's statement is usually quite lengthy. It's always a few paragraphs, and it's always explaining this and that. But this year there's so much that needs explained. I just wonder if they're actually going to do it.
I'd be baffled. I think, as Kieran said, you could literally see it being a post-it note saying, we made this.
Even if it is the usual length it is, you can guarantee it's going to be very much in the same vein of the statement that was released. There's going to be a lot of dancing around the major issues and bigging up what's happened in the past year financially, which is going to be very tone deaf considering how it was just gross mismanagement in the transfer window, and it's going to anger. I mean, people are raging, but that when it comes out is going to spur a whole new wave of anger, because you're going to be reminded about how bad it was, because by that point it'll be a few weeks after the transfer window's shut. You already see a few people sort of calming down for the way it was a couple of weeks ago, and that then harps back to what we spoke about obviously we won at the weekend, managed to get it done. It was a great way to win the game last minute, but if you do get a couple of wins under your belt, we reiterated it again and again last week, it can't be allowed to be forgotten this time.
No.
And I'm pretty sure somebody in the questions we got is asked something to a similar vein as that. But it is, I feel like I'm going to be sat here every single week regardless of the results on the pitch. It cannot be forgotten, and don't forget how raging you were when that transfer window shut.
Let's make it perfectly clear, you will get fucking sick and tired of this probably if you're not that arsed. We will sit on this podcast every day. I know I do it in the channel every day anyway, but we'll probably sit on this podcast every day yapping on about the same things and the same narratives. But it's true, and I think maybe the Celtic fans actually have a bit of a support in that because of what has to happen over the next few months, because this statement's got to come out, because the chairman's got to come forward and say something, and then in November, early November, we've got an AGM. So it's like we're going to keep getting reminded, and we have opportunities to take the bastards to task. It's just a question of, can we keep our own momentum going, which kind of leads me on to one of the things that I wanted to talk about, but very, very quickly. Desmond sending out all his pals. I done a video on this today. Calum, you're already shaking your head. Willie Hockey, he was sent to the cameras telling Celtic fans to back off, in his own words. That was his exact quote. You're shaking your head there, Calum.
I think it's, as you put it in our group chat, Sellik, it's the millionaires that are the ones that are the first ones to come out and tell everybody to calm down. You're the last people that should be coming out and saying it. You're the ones that are gifted tickets left, right and centre. You're put up in the nice big fancy seats. You've got all of this. It's not for the folk like ourselves that go out, you work, you earn your money for your season book, you go out and you do this. The Saturdays are luxury for us. To them, it almost seems like it's a chore for them. Oh, fuck, I'm not going to show my face to that. It's just, I can't wrap my head around it at all. That, I'll send somebody else to do my business. It was like last week, there was rumor with Rodgers.
That's right.
The presser as well.
Which we haven't even touched on, actually.
But again, it almost kind of felt in sort of line of that, and then sure enough Rodgers came out, then he's like, oh, I'm glad he's done it.
Aye.
But that does not surprise me one bit for him.
Yeah, just cowards and rats everywhere at Sellik at the minute. I know we were talking about it in the group chat, as you said earlier, and you weren't familiar with it even happening. I don't think you've seen it at all yet, but he's standing there at whatever it is, the races or whatever, with the microphone in hand, and Desmond's done a lot of good, we're spoiled, but remember what happened before Desmond kept getting at the 90s patter, and I'm like, my God, Willie Hockey's more than likely got a ticket for life at Celtic Park. His away trips are probably all fucking paid for, and he's telling us that we're the ones that should back off because we want more. I'm sorry that fucking I need to spend upwards of 1,500, 2,000 quid a year to support my team. It's a lot of fucking money that I think we deserve better for, and yet we keep getting told after Desmond and his bootlicking pals that we're the ones in the ring. It's just, I don't know, I get a bit sick and tired of it all, quite frankly.
I know, you wouldn't expect anything less, feel like the Prawn Sandwich Brigade, but it's just frustrating to once again be in the position where you're getting people in that condescending manner talking down to you, saying that you're not allowed to feel the way you feel, even though that is addressing a vast majority of the support right now, and that alienation is such a big portion is only going to cause more division in the support. But it's just it's frustrating because we've had this push before, like in the COVID season, when people were demanding better of the team, better of the club as a whole, and we were being told it was in a similar vein, I think, to like when you've got fans of other teams saying, oh, but you won all this so you can't complain. That people moan at other fans of other teams saying that to Celtic supporters, but nobody really draws the parallel between that and the ones that are more than happy for the board to do as they please because they've gave us the success in the past. You can appreciate the success of the past, but football, especially at a club like Celtic, it starts over again. The second you win something, well, we've talked about the managers we've had at this club, the players we've had with the winning mentality. If you want to talk up the winning mentality of the players and the staff and the club as a whole, you can't harp on about past successes as being the be all and end all. It's about what's coming up next.
Absolutely.
And I think that's maybe something that gets lost on a lot of people, that's the way we should be thinking as a club. And you can appreciate everything we've won, you appreciate it in the moment, but you're always looking for that next thing. And that's, if you want to be known as winners, then you need to have that mentality.
No, you're bang on. I couldn't disagree with what you said there, Kieran. It was actually very well put, because when you do think of it in that way, and you look at the overall nature of everything, it's Celtic aren't a club like Aberdeen who should be focusing on the cup winning this year or whatever. And I don't mean to sound like the big typical Glasgow club supporting, we should win everything, we're Celtic and yada, but we should be in this financial climate, in this footballing climate that Celtic exists in. The bare minimum for Celtic is to win trophies every year, so we shouldn't be turning around and going, remember that success we had in 2016, 2017, maybe that should be the story every year. It at least should be the minimum expectation. And some people might not agree, but that's it.
Because we obviously, you can fully recognise we don't have a divine right to win things.
No, of course, that's it, yeah.
But if you build up the history of this club and the past wins, if you have that in the ethos of your club, you're obviously going to have that mentality. You need to keep winning things. You're you're not just happy. It's like that. Hey, no Gallagher. Am I happy with that?
No. Aye, so we'll hopefully get more. I'm fucking sick and tired of these bootlickers though, like the millionaires and such. It's like Rod Stewart, you know what I mean? For years he's been the one that's gave it, you know, the big gun because he's got a fucking 3-season book at Partick.
He's not got a thought between the ears, man.
Got a good song between them.
always
But we are, Calum, you did kind of touch on it there to kind of wrap up everything about that side of the conversation. That like it is about next steps, it is about going forward. That needs to hopefully keep up on Sunday as well. There's not been anything officially announced yet. It might be another one of these 12-minute protests, but there's not been anything officially put out by the groups yet. But you would hope to maybe see it kept up at Firhill to keep the momentum of it all going.
Oh, definitely. I think, as Kieran said, we can't let the fact of getting a good result on Sunday getting away with it. We still need to, as we've said last week numerous times, continue to back the team, continue to make sure that the board is feeling it, the board are seeing it, and you'd like to imagine something will be in place for Sunday.
I think so. I just couldn't, especially because there's quite a lot of supporters that are going to be there.
Yeah,
it's close to 5,000.
So you'd like to hope that there's something in the works, and I'm sure there will be. I was going to kind of bridge this into the next topic of conversation because, of course, this week we should have been, the board's failings have led us into another competition. We should have been playing, we could have been going to a Champions League game tonight. That's madness to think. We could have been, or Tuesday night or Wednesday night, we could have been going to a Champions League game. But here we are. We didn't make the competition and we're in the Europa League, which has obviously changed the narrative for a lot of people because now it's like, right, okay, let's try and go on a run in the Europa League, try to look at things glass half full. I think that's quite difficult when you consider the state we've been left in and all the rest of it. But hi-ho, that's for another podcast. Generally, I just wanted to speak about, are we ready for game one? We got a good result against Kilmarnock at the weekend, Kieran. And game one isn't going to be easy next week in Belgrade, but are we ready?
You don't know at this point, to be honest, because you come back after the international break, you play Kelly, never exactly set the world alight, had to wait till the last minute to win via a penalty.
Aye.
Which, by the way, caused an uproar during the week, but I'm sure enough's been said on that at this point. But going into this game against Red Stars, it's obviously a very tough away game. The surroundings there, it's going to be a noisy atmosphere, things like that. But on paper, we should be beating Red Star Belgrade, and it's not even in a pure cheeky way. If we drew them in the Champions League, people would be
licking their lips. Licking their lips.
I don't know if it's the knocking confidence I got into Europa that might maybe put a seed of doubt in people's mind, but if we've got people are talking about, right, let's get a serious go in the Europa League, and these are the games you need to be winning.
Yep.
I'm not saying you need to be hammering these teams, but you need to be getting the results, and especially first game, it's a good test. It's away from home in a difficult environment. It's not going to be an easy game, but if you can go out and win that, it puts a bit of confidence, puts a bit of spring in your step again.
Yep.
And you're just hoping that we can get some momentum building up here.
Aye, listen, Crvena Zvezda, Red Star are a team that I would look at and go, Celtic should be beaten. And Calum, I know this was 3 years ago, but Rangers beat them 4-2 in aggregate in the Europa League in 2022 in their run to the final. And obviously football, for teams like Crvena Zvezda and Celtic, football changes massively. Like Celtic's team for then, for example, is unrecognisable. So I can't even begin to imagine how different Red Stars might look. So you can only take that with a pinch of salt. But home or away, as Kieran's put it, these are the teams that you need to beat to even have a chance. And Celtic have more financial muscle to flex. We've got more international muscle to flex in terms of caps across players. We are generally just, and they're a former European Cup winner in their own right, aren't they? So they deserve the respect, but we should be winning. And I think if it wasn't for the fact that the board had led us down this path where we are right now in terms of negativity, we'd probably be going into this thinking, right, very winnable game.
Definitely. I think it has just been, everything still does have that kind of downer feel to it. Like, best Europa League. But then again, as you said, if this is the exact same tie but in the Champions League, everybody's right up for it. You're absolutely right. This is a game you should be getting winning. Still the exact same the matter. Obviously, it is a hard place to go. It's an unusual atmosphere, but then again, it's not really much different. I've got to say it's not much different. Folk will end up slaughtering at the comments, but compared to obviously what we try and sort of replicate in those European nights, where you try and get the stadium and everybody up for it. But no, it's a tie we should be winning.
Celtic have went to places like that and got results in the past, and we've seen Celtic go to tough places. You know, we were there in Rome when we played Lazio. I know that's maybe not quite, but we managed to go and win there in the Europa League. We've had other famous nights, and granted, in recent years, not as frequently as you would like. But
Matt, tell me about these nights.
But there is that kind of. I think whenever you go into a European game of any nature, depending, it doesn't matter what the competition is, there is always a sort of, oh, we can't do that, but we can. We definitely can.
I think it's just us as a support. We've seen in the last 20 years so much disappointment that I think even in the games that other teams would be licking the lips at, you kind of have this at the back of your head. Even if you're saying you're confident, there's still that slight defeatist attitude that I think comes with being a Celtic fan supporting us in Europe.
Aye.
Because we've been let down so many times in the past, you don't want to get your hopes up because...
Thanks, Dermot Desmond.
I know, but we've been in these situations where we think, right, we're in the Europa League this year, but their team's playing class, and then you get beat off of Copenhagen.
Aye.
Then we drop into Conference League that year, and we get beat off of Bodo Glimt to be fair to them, they've established themselves as a pretty good European team, but at the time, nobody had a clue who they were.
Nah.
So, I mean, in retrospect, we can kind of let ourselves off.
We kickstarted their European, prowess.
If they never played us that night, they'd be down in the fucking bottom division Norway by now.
So, I guess, I don't want to obviously dwell on the opening segment of the show too much, but it's got to be weird for us in the podcast because now we've been forced into fucking changing our nights to record. So
what do we do?
I don't know.
What do we do?
I don't know. Luckily, Celtic play on Wednesday next week, so we've got another week of a Thursday show at least, and then we can talk about it then.
I'm getting up my Fridays for
So, no, generally speaking, let's forget about game one itself for a moment. Let's look at the wider context of the Europa League. It's a bit early because there's still a game in the way, Partick Thistle. But Calum, what is your expectation of Celtic in the competition? What do you want out of the Europa League this year?
Obviously, the dream case scenario is you get that top eight. That kind of top 8 finish, so you put yourself in the best position possible. But again, it's just it's trying to get the most positive results. Probably the away games more than anything.
Aye.
You'd like to think not seeing the home games take care of themselves, and we've won them already.
Of course.
That's obviously where you kind of see you've got the upper hand, if you will. It's proven ourselves in the away ties.
Rangers got top 8 last year under Philip come on with one of the worst Rangers teams I've ever seen. And once again, you can only take everything with a pinch of salt, and they managed to raise their game in Europe a lot better than we can. I'll always give them the credit for that. But you see them get top 8, and it makes you think that surely to God we can replicate that.
You'd like to think so. But again, as Kieran touched on, it's Celtic in Europe, isn't it? It's just one of those things that genuinely feels like it could come down to a toss of a coin, for what goes your way that night.
With Celtic, there's just as good a chance you finish top 8 as there is a finishing rock bottom of the fucking group.
Exactly. But no, you'd like to think we if the other half of the city can do it with a lesser squad, you'd like to put yourself in the best case scenario.
What about you, Kieran? What's your expectations?
I feel like my expectations and my hopes for it are different things, because as Calum said, you hope we get top 8.
Aye.
But you look at the draw we got, and in terms of Europa, you can't really say, it's a very tough draw, because we could have been playing the Champions League and it would have been a different kettle of fish. But you look at the games we've got, I mean, we've got to play...
Do you want me to run through them?
Aye.
So we've got Crevena Zvezda, of course, on match day 1, and then it's Braga at Celtic Park, Sturm Graz at Celtic Park, Midtjylland in Denmark, Feyenoord at the Coop, and then we finish off, I think, with we've got 3 more after that. We've got Roma at Celtic Park, and finish off with the 2 post-Christmas games being Bologna in Italy and Utrecht at Celtic Park.
A couple of tough ties in there, but realistically, we need to be...
The magic number's 12 points.
Aye. I think there's definitely 12 points in the fixtures for Celtic to take, but you want better than that.
I think that I would... Listen, I want Celtic to try and get up to that 18 mark. I don't see any reason why we can't be ambitious enough. I'm not saying that we will win 6 out of 8 games, but why can't we be thinking about winning a 6 out of 8 games?
You need to be aiming to win all your home games. It's like that thing in FIFA. If you win your home games, you win your away games.
You've got a pretty decent chance of going through. So if I was putting a number on it, I think I think Celtic can get 15 points. I really do.
What did we get in the Champions League last year? Was it 11?
11 or 12.
We should be getting more than 12
Like, and that's the thing. How can you justify? I know that. To be fair, the squad's regressed. Right, we know the squad's regressed. So maybe if you look at the squad's regressed, okay, maybe the numbers then regress alongside it. But at the end of the day, the teams that we are playing are significantly worse off than what we came up against in the champ. Well, maybe not significantly.
People will say because we had an easier draw last year in the Champions League.
But still, these are teams that got to the Champions League. These are teams that couldn't get to the Champions League. So if you're just going off bare fucking logic, you know, it should be the case. But are you, to kind of finish up, are you feeling any more excited about the Europa League than what you were when Kairat Almaty initially knocked us into it?
Maybe ever so slightly, but I do think it is just because you're kind of forced to.
Right.
It's not a genuine excitement for my gut or anything. It's coming up, so you need to kind of get yourself up for it because you're going to be watching this for the next 4 or 5 months.
Is it something, Calum, that maybe the excitement comes in when you get through to the next rounds, the knockouts, and then that's when you're like, right, okay, now I can actually be a bit more up for this than what I was for the initial groups?
Yeah, I think also there will still be that kind of excitement with the groups where should you get kind of like your first win in it, you're like, right, good, that's get kind of 3 points on the board. I'm not saying that's 2 come next week, but you know what I mean? Like first wins on the board, right? Let's kind of build a bit of momentum in this tournament now and keep us going. Obviously, it's Feyenoord and Roma back to back.
Yeah.
So obviously that's kind of a bit. You'd have rather them kind of a bit more split
Separate.
apart.
Aye.
So a bit of pain having the double done of it, but you just kind of hope come those games we've put ourselves in a good enough position.
Absolutely. Right, any kind of points that you want to mention in regards to anything we've touched on in the opening half of the show that I've maybe missed at all?
Ian actual blessing himself.
What a guy, I
see the video in the crowd realised they go,
it's already my favourite player ever, man. Didn't even want him here this time last week. No, good to see him get a goal. Right, okay. Half-time quiz.
I've got it this week.
Kieran,
I'm glad we finished that off talking about European football because this week it's a tenable I've got for you. And I think it's a pretty simple one, but there might be a couple that trip you up, and it's the last 10 teams Celtic faced in the opening fixture of European group stage or league phase.
Right.
So it encompasses both Champions League and Europa League.
Slovan Bratislava.
Right, number 1.
Year before that would have been Feyenoord at the Cup.
Number 2.
Back is like a bit centre.
Aye.
So
excuse me.
Home
as well. Sorry,
that's shocking.
And the year before that was when we went to Poland and such. Who was the first game?
But that was only the other day. That was Shakhtar.
That wasn't the opening game, was it? Was it the opening game?
Or was Real before that?
Oh, that's a quick. Was it Bayer Leverkusen the year before at Parkhead?
No.
Oh, yeah, fucker. I've wasted a life there. I thought that was. I was like, we'll come back to it because I was pretty sure the Bayer Leverkusen game was the opening game. The Ange in his first season. Yeah, fucker. I've jumped in. I shouldn't have done that. So the year. Was Shakhtar the first game that season?
See, I don't think so, but I'm just trying to remember because I get the memory for it the other day.
Aye. I'm just trying to think because obviously we went to Shakhtar. Did we go to 2 in that group?
Leipzig.
And Leipzig definitely wasn't the opening.
That was definitely later on.
And the Leipzig home game wasn't the first. I think is it Real? Is Real the first one? The 3.
I really don't know.
You pick one of the 2. Out of Real and Hingy, pick one. You go. Because I've wasted a life. I jumped in and wasted a life, so don't feel guilty about it if you waste a life.
But they've only got one life.
Aye, fuck it. We'll be alright. We'll make it.
What's it going to be? The pressure is on.
I fucking hate this. Is it Real?
Number 3.
Yes. Go on, brilliant.
Right, so I actually got the 3 most recent years.
So then it was Ange's first season, Europa League. Wasn't Leverkusen, as we've discovered. Wasn't it Ferencváros, was it? The whole 3 game at Parkhead?
I feel like that was October. Because I was looking at it the other day.
So it was Ferencváros, Leverkusen and who in that group? Betis. Oh, it was Betis, wasn't it? It was Betis away from home, the 4-3 game.
Number 4.
Aye, that was it.
I thought, see, when you first said about Ferencváros, Faros, I was like, I hope he's talking to Calum and not making it to me.
No, only because
That's it.
I was talking about the half-free game the other day in Muck. That's why I looked up. So now,
So then before that, it's the COVID season.
I had to look this up because I see, just because of the timings of the European group stage, I was like, that game felt a lot later than, and it was right because it didn't start until
COVID.
October that year.
So we had Milan. Did we have Ajax? No. Can't remember that group for the life of me now. Milan. Somebody and somebody.
We got hammered off one of the teams in both legs, the same score, remember?
Slavia Prague was one of the teams. That's the team we got scudded as.
It was Sparta Prague.
Sparta Prague, sorry.
Prague.
I'm helping you out here because it's not Sparta Prague. But
So it's either Milan or the other team.
But who the fuck was the other team?
But I can't remember who it was. I can't remember who we played first. But we can come back to that. The year before, we had Lazio, but that was match days 3 and 4 because that was a back-to-back game.
So Lazio, Rennes, Cluj.
Oh,
Was it?
Cluj.
Was that that group?
Aye, was it Cluj? It was the opening game.
is that your guess?
I don't know.
I don't know. Or was it Rennes away maybe?
Oh, actually, it might be.
The first game because
might
Bio
be.
sent half, I'm sure.
Oh, aye. Is it that?
It was Ren away.
Aye,
I watched that game working on the checkouts in Tesco. I had it on my wee drawer.
So that's,
hanging it up.
so that's decent. We've got
So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6.
Then the year before that,
2018.
18, was Rodgers' last season.
Yep.
Europa League group stage. And it was against... Who did we have in that group? Rosenborg. Were they in that? Or was that a qualifier?
They were in it, aye.
They were in it. Rosenborg were in it.
Was it Leipzig?
Leipzig.
Because was it no Salzburg as well?
Salzburg,
'Cause
that's
remember
right.
there was
That's right. Aye, that was the
these two-
best team we've ever seen at Parkhead. No,
These two
aye.
played each other.
Aye.
And
Oh,
can't
that was
remember
because
who it was.
they go.
And that's
That's
what
how
got
he
us
goes through. That's
Aye.
right. So that meant match day 6. Then we played Rosenborg at Parkhead, which would have meant match day 1 would have been Rosenborg away from home.
I'm going to give you Rosenborg, but
Right.
that math is just no. Because Rosenborg played Leipzig in the last game.
Right.
Because we played Salzburg at home.
sorry,
and
aye,
Salzburg
sorry.
beat us.
But
and
it was
then we all went
Rosenborg then,
mental.
aye.
It was Rosenborg. I was like, it's just no right. But
that's a Carlton goal.
Aye, that worked
Humbled
somehow.
in.
Then the year before that, Champions League, the year we had PSG, Barca, and was the other Anderlecht. I feel like Anderlecht was match days 3 and 4 back to back, but I might be wrong on that. I know the year before that, though, City, Manchester City at Parkhead.
2 lives gone.
Oh, what? How was that? Was that not the opening game? Oh, no, it was Barca. It was Barca that they got beat.
Number 9.
Barca, shit. I need to stop jumping on that one. So
fucking
that's
hell,
9. Then the year before with Ronnie Dyler, we had...
Salzburg again?
Aye.
I could only remember because the big display they had.
Aye, Right, so hold on, what are we missing here then? What years?
So you're missing 2020.
COVID
You never
year.
made a decision on that. You're missing 2017 and 2015.
Right.
2017.
2017 was either PSG or... I don't think it was Barca again, was it? On the opening.
The only reason I remember the PSG game is because of Cavani's diving header.
Yeah.
Aye.
I don't know how you put backspin in the header. It's probably one of the best goals I think I've seen.
Right, we've got one life and we've got 3 to get. It's not going to be easy, so I've Calum, pick any of them and guess one, because I've wasted life.
2015, which is Europa League. 2017 Champions League. 2020 Europa League.
To be established. No, it was. It's the third team for the 2020. I'm trying to remember.
Aye. Just guess any.
Fuck it, we'll just go with a shout. PSG.
For 2017?
Yes.
Aye.
7-1 game.
5-0. 5-0 at Celtic Park.
Right.
Good man.
So
Nice.
we've got the other 2 then. I feel like it could have been Milan we played first that year, but I can't remember for the life of me.
Do you want to guess that?
It's the third team. I can't.
Fuck it, Milan.
Correct.
Nice.
It's good
It was
man.
Shane Duffy. Don't even know. He had his end Davy Wheel moment in that game.
Fuck aye.
But the thing that pure messed with that, and he'd actually had to look it up, is because I remember that game being like October, But it was because everything was
Moved
pushed
back.
back.
Shifted up.
Right, so we've only got the
2015 opening game of the Europa League.
I was trying to remember who was in the group. Salzburg's the only team that came to mind, just because of that big banner.
I'll give you a clue because we're running on here. It was an away game, so it wasn't at Celtic Park.
Right.
Did we have? No, we didn't. Did we have Ajax that year? I know I've asked him a couple of times.
Or was that Dyer's first European year?
I think it was his. We had them in the Champions League with Lenny.
I think it might be because it was the Bumblebee strip.
Aye,
We played away.
Ajax.
Fuck it, go
It
with
was
it.
Ajax.
Correct.
Yes, good man.
Two each game, Bumblebee cat.
Nice,
I
nice.
was, soon as you said that,
Remember saying there, I was like, did we have Ajax the Europa League?
Aye.
I knew we had them in the Europa League one year. I just couldn't remember what fucking year.
No, he's done well to get them.
Okay, I don't
Especially
know.
because I've jumped in and
Ryan was the fucking saboteur there, man.
see, it was as soon as I said City, I was like, oh shit, the 7-0 game. Fucking cool too, because that was right after. Was that right after the derby?
We beat them 5-1 on
Yep.
the 10th, which was the Saturday, and then we got hammered on the Tuesday.
Right, brilliant. Good
Happy
for
days.
us. Good for us. Right, half time is over into the second half. I want to keep this very, very short. Thistle away, League Cup quarter finals. Whoever wins books their first trip to Hampden this season. Thistle are a division below Celtic, so I mean it with the greatest of respects. We should be making short work of them, just to be perfectly honest. Now, it doesn't always mean it'll happen.
Yeah.
And you've certainly got to respect opposition no matter what league they're in. And Partick Thistle have every right to believe it for Hill, but Celtic should be winning the game here.
No, we should be. It shouldn't even be a question. Granted, we're in a position now where you're kind of doubting every game just because of the way things have panned out this season at Celtic. But at the end of the day, you need to try and think a bit more rationally and think, right, if we're wanting to be serious about kicking on, this is a game where you really need to get started, I think, and getting these good performances under your belt. A good chance for players to prove themselves. We spoke earlier about Balak Wisha and things like that, maybe not hitting the ground running. He needs to take a chance to show that he is the man that we thought we were getting, things like that, because it is very early days and I'm never going to write off a Celtic player after 2 games, but obviously we've had a tough situation this summer and you would have loved to have every signing come in, hit the ground running. And I think it's maybe frustrating because we were saying Donetsky came in and had a very good game against Kilmarnock. So you're hoping Balak can do the same and just get a bit of momentum going, especially we're going into that game on Wednesday night in Serbia. So it'd be good to get a win under our belts and get through to a semi-final.
It's an interesting one on that note, Calum, because we have, of course, Wednesday to look forward to. And because it's a team in the division below, it does offer Brendan to maybe rest some players. We've seen him at Coty Kilmarnock, Tierney didn't play. We've seen him tinkering about with the new front three. So he's obviously got Wednesday in the back of his mind. We'll also want to try and book a trip to Hampden. Is it a chance for him to rotate further ahead of that game? And do you think he'll do that?
Yeah, I think we'll see a couple of rotations. I think more so. I think the one I was actually kind of surprised with for Kilmarnock was Carter Vickers. Because he's kind of his knees been a wee bit kind of iffy with like the plastic pitches. But no, I think I definitely see a bit of rotation in here. I don't want to start. I know we're only 2 games in from him. I don't want to give him the Adamida treatment. Like a good performance, he'll do him a world a good bat. You'd like to think that a good game here for Balak will hopefully kind of pick him up a bit. I feel like he has to get a wee performance in there. Again, you're not writing them off after 2 games,
No, of course,
I think a positive result could probably do his confidence a bit good.
Yeah, he definitely needs it. Should he even start? I mean, who knows? Maybe he'll start a Yang or a Forrest ahead of him. We don't quite know yet, but you would like to think that he just tries to get them out there, and especially ahead of the European game, maybe it's smarter to build confidence in him without having to travel out to bloody Serbia, and then he's maybe in his own head or he's not ready to go.
See, we've been watching Celtic this season and saying the performances have looked fractured and disjointed and like there's no real cohesion between the players. You only get that by playing together.
Yep.
So as much as there probably will be rotation, this certainly isn't a game for over rotation.
As Calum said, maybe a couple.
I think that has to be it, because if you go, there'll be 6 or 7 players changed that's not really allowing any momentum to build whatsoever, because even if they go and hammer the team and we've started a second string team, you're not going to start that on Wednesday night, are you? You're going to put the on paper strongest starting 11 on that pitch. So I don't know. I think even if it's no much rotation at the start, there will be subs in that made, but hopefully we can have a performance that's comfortable and encouraging.
I think one of the main things we need to take into account, Calum, is how well we handled it last year. Let's not forget, we spoke about it, how good the league phase was for Celtic, and we managed to balance it pretty well. And I don't feel like, I mean, maybe I'm mistaken. As I said, the games go in one year and come out the other and whatnot. I forget very quickly, but I don't feel like we went into this stage of the season last year talking about Rodgers making loads of changes. I felt there was a bit of familiarity and kind of regular appearances for players, and that obviously boded very well for us, because between August and February last year we were playing some of the best football that we've ever seen under Brendan Rodgers.
Yeah, I think it was even because as far back to like Martin O'Neill had a kind of 7 set players that were always in that team, and 4 of them you could rotate if you needed to. Fair enough, if you didn't need to, it's fine. That's what I feel like we need to kind of start working towards, whether we've got players coming back from injury. Also, it was nice to hear Alistair Johnson kind of giving a bit of an update during the week about him. Thankfully, it was a positive one. And then you still get the likes of Joe Allen. He's more towards kind of Christmas and that. He's still a bit down the line, but if we've got that kind of set foundation in the 7, if you will, and then it's just a couple of players, like a full back, like we know what Tierney's fitness has been like, or again at that right back, where obviously you've had Donovan coming in, who's looked positive. But no, I think that's what we should be kind of striding towards.
No, I agree with you 100%. I think it's hard pressed to find somebody with argue it. I'm looking forward to seeing Vinny Salo back and go, because I think he's now the designated cup keeper. I think that's his role, and he's started. I mean, I think he's the only, up until the weekend there, he'd only conceded, the only goal we'd conceded in competitive play was through Salo and goals, but it wasn't like he had a bad game or nothing against Falkirk. It was a chance that was well taken, and that was that. But it's good to see him get maybe these run-outs.
I mean, it definitely is, because if we have got a contingency plan in place for him to be the starting goalkeeper next year, you need to get some minutes in the legs. You need to get him used to playing a bit more regularly. I mean, he obviously had that wee stint in the team last season when Schmeichel got injured with Denmark and that. But yeah, I've never thought to myself he's anything but decent. So you're just hoping he can prove himself to be, because we've had so many goalkeepers come in as backups and that's just them forgotten about forever. But I feel like this time when we signed the 2 of them at the same window, it felt like, right, at the time you're thinking Schmeichel does 1 year and then pass it over. Now Schmeichel's stayed for a second year, but I think this will be the last year of Schmeichel at Celtic. But hopefully he can do well.
Yeah. So lots of goals, hopefully. Lots of goals. I mean, 2 at the weekend was nice. Probably could have had more. I think I saw a lot of improvement at the weekend personally. Like, not to a grand scale or anything, but I was certainly enthused by the 90th minute. I mean, but there was only, when they scored the equaliser, the way that I worded it was, I was pretty happy with everything until they scored, and then I was like, and then I was miserable. And then when we scored the winner, I was like, I feel like if we didn't get the 3 points, I'd have felt robbed personally. I thought we were the better side. I don't know if that's how he's picked up the game, but that's how I picked it up anyway.
I feel like a kind of very typical Kilmarnock performance of recent years, where it's just been that take a goal for a set piece if you can, and you hold on to that. I'd have felt the same. Also, the fact that I felt quite, I didn't even really deserved a point at that, did they?
No, I mean, listen, fair play to them playing the way that they have to play, but the most they would have deserved would have been a point if they got it, wasn't it? Like they were on the ascendancy for like that last 10 minutes.
Yeah, after they get that
I was kind of worried that we were the ones on the ropes, but we prevailed, so not too bad. Do you want to give a score prediction for the weekend? Have we got to Hampden?
I'm going to say 3-0 Celtic.
3-1.
I'm going to go 4-1. 4 goals. Do you think Kelechi will get a start to finish off?
I don't know if it's going to be a case of building up the minutes in his legs the way they maybe need to. But I mean, wouldn't be opposed to it. But if he did start, I wouldn't be shocked if he got hooked at half time, regardless of how he plays.
Same as Kieran.
I think if he starts the game, probably they imagine it to be a half-time substitution. No, I think he'll probably get about half an hour in the second half.
Right, well that's that. There's your preview, short and sweet. But we know what we should be doing, quite frankly.
I mean, with Red Star during the week, I'm sad we're not able to go to it.
I know. Would have been. I mean, granted,
Would have been sketchy.
I don't know if I could have been bothered bleeding out, but fair enough. Aye. No, it would have been a nice one to tickle for the list.
Aye.
Do you know what I'm thinking? Do you know what I'm going to say? I've seen people say this on social media, so I don't mean to copy folk. Right? See this whole thing about their fucking tunnel.
With that graffiti.
Mate, it's like walking through that fucking underpass at Riverglen. It's nothing fucking.
I feel more scared going on.
Like, see this whole, that's so intimidating. I'm like, probably is when you've got thousands of people stomping their feet up above it, right? But it's a fucking bit of graffiti, lads. It's, you know, right
Sort of out your eyes shut, buddy.
I know, exactly. I feel that fucking fear of menchies then, you know.
Fear of menchies.
Shut your eyes and get on with it, fuck's sake. Right, Twitter questions. We actually didn't get that many this week. I don't know if we didn't hit the algorithm or something, but we've only got 7, so we might be able to get through them all.
Step up, lads.
Step up. Well, as Calum tries to compose himself earlier. Right, Connor Carr with the first question today says, with the fan movement in full swing and the Celtic support being more unified than ever, how long do you think the campaign will go on for? And if you can make one change at Celtic right now that isn't the obvious ousting of the current board, what would it be? So I don't know what point you maybe want to start on there. Maybe start on the change that you would make at Celtic. Any kind of significant thing that would... That's one of those questions that always feels like when I have so many ideas and things that I'd say that then it gets asked, I can't think what my priority would actually be.
I mean, if he's saying excluding like the ousting of people for their positions, I think the very basic thing that comes to mind is a clear line of communication with the fans.
Right, that's your answer.
Because we're sat here in the dark completely about the ongoings at the club. There's no real communication, right, as we touched on last week.
That's a good answer. Calum, anything that you would change, whether it's team related, stadium related, player related, what would you change?
I think we kind of touched on most of the stadium ones last week. Like the fact we still get damage that was done in January and it's still not fixed. I'm like, come on to fuck. Like even that, just the general like surroundings within like the kind of the match day event of like whether it be if you had a kind of a fan zone area or something like that.
So a better match day experience then? Was that one of the things you'd change?
We kind of spoke to the boy in Muck. He's a St Johnstone fan. I was like, you must be the only St Johnstone fan I've ever met. But talking with him, we just kind of said like they do a lot of things where it's like I think it's under 13s like go for free. For example, I'm not saying that's what we should be doing, but they then say like, be an idea that is for a season ticket. If you're just trying to buy a general sale ticket, you're at £30 time you buy like the wee and a ticket, and then it's they want a scarf, they want a programme, they want food, they want this and that. Like I feel like there's more things we could be doing for that.
And remember, get your food from the neighbouring vans and the businesses at the stadium. Don't be giving it your money to the people inside Celtic Park now.
I wonder if the donut snack van spoke out a line and got the licence taken away from them, because that's not been there.
I know. Where is it? Maybe they're anti-board or something. Staunch anti-board. They've been packed away. My answer to that question would be director of football. That's my answer. How we are in the year of 2025 and we haven't modernised that department of the club, even though we have Paul Tisdale, head of footballing operations. I'm not buying any of it. That would probably be my answer. But I think they're all really good answers.
I feel like the talk of directors of football, and that happened after the COVID season. That was something that was so prevalent in every conversation surrounding the future of the club. And then it just kind of got put to one side, and I feel like there was quite an effort made in the media to try and downplay the importance of a director of football.
This isn't me putting it on blaming this guy for it, but I think how well Ange did really just fucked it off to the side, because he done so fucking well. I was like, I don't care about a director of football. And that 2 years under Ange, we were playing lovely football, making great signings, like just kind of masked the need for it, and the board got away with it. But now it's coming back to bite them a wee bit. And Rodgers has done a fantastic job in his own right. You know, he's done great, but we obviously know the signings haven't remained to the same standard. We have seen these problems flesh up that we've seen in the past. So, like, it's just kind of disappeared, hasn't it?
This is really going to annoy me, but Do you remember the name of the guy that kept getting touted for the director of football job? Because I can't think.
Fergal Harkin.
That's
Aye,
it.
Fergal
My
Harkin.
God, that would have ate away at me. Night and day.
Fergal Harkin of the City group, I
Aye.
think. Aye. That was the guy. That was the one. This first part of the question as well, like how long can it go on for? I think it can go as long as we all stay united. It can go on. I bet you sound like Ultimate Warrior. Forever dies fucking 4 hours later. Anyway, question from Aaron: do you think there's this is what you alluded to earlier? Right? Do you think there's a danger that if we do keep grinding out results, that a big enough a section of the fans will stop caring about the board?
It just depends how big that section's going to be, because it's a certainty. It's going to happen. It's just what's always happened. It's what's always going to happen. But this time, you're just hoping that it's no majority of the support that falls away for it, because they spoke about that at that meeting. You've got people that were speaking very well, like people for the Celtic Trust, and they were saying this isn't our first rodeo. We know that people are going to fall away for it when results start to go good, but the underlying problems at the club are still going to be there. That's the issue, and you can say it's entitled to say that winning trophies and that is papering over the cracks, but we find ourselves in these cycles. Everything's rosy for a couple of years, and then you get the stark reminder that we're not very well run, in the sense that there's no plans for if people leave. Transfer dealings are usually a calamity at this club, and the underlying issues get brought to light, but then a couple of wins happen, you go on a wee run, and it's just everything's calmed down again. People have put the pitchforks and the torches away. Keep them out. Don't let that flame go out.
Brother Teresa asks on top of that, he also says, big fan of the podcast, which we love. Hail, brother. He just wanted to ask what would be the successful outcome. And we have touched on this already. I've already asked you what you want as the kind of final outcome. But Calum, he says, would it take an entire sweep of the board? New ownership? Would you take just getting rid of some of the board members? What is the ideal out of all of it?
I still feel like it needs to be a clean
sweep.
All of it. Aye. Because as much as you could say we'll get rid of 8 of them, but the 9th man's still there, you still get that rotten apple in there. I think it has to be a full new fresh faces.
I would love it. Even if it is unrealistic, I would love it. Like, I'm not saying for a moment that I think every single one. I think we'd all agree with that. I don't see the non-exec, the Neds go with the executives, with the fucking owners, the key shareholders. But if we could have that,
of course,
more than ideal. More than ideal. If it could get us new owners of an ethical nature as well, bring it on. I would love that. But we'll see where it goes. Adelaide, any away days planned?
We've spoke about a couple. I mean, Bologna seems like the one, because it's down the line and people can get holidays in for it and that, but we're not sure. We're weighing up the options. We said we're sad we're not going to Belgrade. I mean, I think if me and Calum, if we started jobs very similar times, if we hadn't just started new jobs, I think I'd have been in a position, if I was still a mild job, to have booked up to throw away the money's there, but it's just the way it's worked out.
We've spoke about Michelin maybe being a possibility.
I think that's circumstantial. I think you won't know till nearer the time.
So we'll see, but hopefully so. Do you know anywhere in Belgrade that does kebab pies?
I'm actually opened a wee stall over there.
Look, Kieran will be there. He's lying to you. He'll be there with the kebab pies.
I'll have a moustache on.
I've seen somebody actually atted us on Twitter the other day. It was Dougie actually.
I forgot to reply to that.
And he was saying about Spar. Because Spar now see Brownings. It used to be in the Killie. Brownings are their in-store bakers now. So the one at Garfamlock does the Brownings Killie pies, kebab pies, and all the rest of it. So take a wee drive up to Garfamlock.
Because that must have no long started. Because when I was walking to work,
it used to be something. It was so they put in so I'm talking about the Spar at Garfamlock exclusively here, the local Spar. Which I used to be in all the time when I was still smoking daily. But anyway, they had about 2 or 3 years ago, they built like a bakery / deli section, but it wasn't Brownings originally. It was like some other shite. It was some fucking other company. But I think recently it's rebranded to Brownings. So
do Scott Mids and that still have, is it Aulds?
I don't know.
Or McDonald's bakers?
I'm never in a fucking Aulds.
I think it was McDonald's, I think.
Because it's like you've still got the one at the, what the fuck are these shops again? Bud Hill.
Aye.
Because we were in there after Trophy Day. We went in there.
I know, because there's an Auld up in the St Enoch Centre.
Aye, yeah, we wave every time I walk past.
It's actually him. Right, Tierney. Kieran asked, Tierney is a downgrade on Taylor. I would like to hear your opinions. As one of the 3,000 outside for 12 minutes at Rugby Park, it was good to see how many joined in. It's all going to start. Yeah, but a lot of discourse about Tierney so far. He hasn't looked amazing.
Up to speed.
Aye. And how long can you wait on that, you know?
I think with other players, you kind of... people would have made their minds up by now, but because it's Tierney, you know the player that he can be.
Aye.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to have the downgrade on Greg Taylor argument. I know he might not be making that argument wholeheartedly. He's just throwing a talking point out there, but it's obviously going to frustrate the support because we were lauding it as this. It isn't still an amazing
Because he finished
signing.
the season at Arsenal brilliantly as well.
He still wasn't.
Aye. Playing a lot of football and getting the minutes
That's
he
the
didn't
difference,
have,
but because we're like, he's looking good for Arsenal and that, but he was playing bit parts at the end of the season, coming back for a big injury, and then he's been thrown in, getting 60 minutes here, 75 minutes, and then he never started, withdrew for the Scotland squad, things like that. It's obviously going to be frustrating, but everybody, we all knew what we were getting ourselves in for signing Kieran Tierney, and at the time, if you said to somebody, would you take Tierney back, but
Taylor has to go.
People would have bit your horn off.
Yeah.
So it's just...
The big test, Calum, is going to be Europe. That's when we'll truly see the difference. Like if Tierney has a cracker at a game against Belgrade and so on, people aren't going to be having that conversation. They're going to be going, we made the right decision, and Tierney's clearly an upgrade.
Definitely. I think the example we'll get used for Taylor's probably going to be Bayern, the home league. For last season, in terms of if he does come in, he's at a step up. And I know there's a massive gulf in talent between Belgrade and Bayern Munich, but at the same time, it's the simple things. It's not as if Taylor's get turned inside out and it was a wonderful move. It was down to poor defensive quality is what cost him the first leg. So yeah, I think after Belgrade, I think it'll be very telling in terms of where we are with the left back situation for Europe.
100%. And that's basically it for the questions, because the remaining couple were basically ones we've answered. So thank you. Full-time quiz, Calum. I believe you have made us one this week. It's going to be me against Kieran. I don't know if I've played you yet in a quiz this year.
God knows.
Well, anyway, Calum, I'll let you take it away. I'm looking forward to this, actually.
Notes. So Kieran, obviously just because you didn't get to the partner, so that half-time quiz you're hosting. Would you like set A or set B?
I always pick the wrong one anyway, but I'll go set A.
Set A.
Start off this time.
So the feminist quiz is based around the weekend just gone and the weekend coming up. So Kilmarnock and Partick Thistle related.
Right, okay. That means I'm getting 1 out of 5 maybe.
Mate, I was working one Sunday. I missed most of the game.
So set A, sorry, you chose Kieran?
Aye, set A.
That's perfect. So set A, first question is for last season's League Cup.
Right.
How many goals did Celtic score from where we entered the tournament to obviously we all know get on to win?
Christ.
Ah, shit. Right, I was trying to remember the games we played. Falkirk.
So this divided this year, but last season's League Cup.
Aye. So last season we scored 3 against Rangers. Semi-final we scored 6 against Aberdeen. So that's 9.
Right.
There was 4 against Falkirk.
Right.
I don't want to take them out. Was that 13?
13.
13. But what the fuck was the other game?
It was, I'm not telling you, why would I tell
Nah,
you?
no, I'm calling Ryan, tell me. So we're on 13, there was another game against Hibs. Against Hibs, maybe. But what was the score? I'm going to go 16.
Sorry,
that's what I was going to say. I was going to say 16.
So I don't know what the score was in that
Did they
game.
not beat Hibs like 3-something?
I thought so.
17.
I'm going to kill myself.
3-1 against Hibs, 5-2 against Falkirk, 6-0 against Aberdeen.
See, I knew it was you convinced me it was 4 we scored, didn't get Falkirk there. But that suits me.
It was a 5. Obviously with the kind of the double from you done and the double from Kuhn.
Aye.
Can I get it there? Ryan, so let's
Yes.
see if you can take a 1-0 lead here. This one is based on this weekend's opponents,
Right.
how they've done in the League Cup so far this season.
Oh dear.
This weekend's opponents obviously entered in the league phase. To this current stage, how many goals have they scored?
Well, they draw every fucking week in the league, and it always seems to be, fucking. Well, actually, is it low scoring? I don't know. Listen. I'll go off the law of averages here. They play 4 games in the group? Or is it 3 games in the group?
Sorry,
It depends on the size of the
Does
group,
it?
doesn't it?
Well, I'll say they
I think it's
scored
4 games.
2 more, 8, 10. I've got to get it right. 10.
It's 13.
Not too far now.
Nah,
Obviously, the previous round they played Scott Brown's Ayr.
That's
won
right.
2-0.
That's right.
Get themselves through.
The derby.
So after
Never
that,
remembered that.
the first round there, we are 0-0.
No.
Right.
Question to Kieran. Last time we played Partick Thistle, it was a 2-1 win in 2020. But who scored that day?
So that game only 2-1.
You were there.
I know. Griffiths
Yep.
and mate, who the fuck?
I actually can't remember who
No.
scored the goal. I just remember Griffiths scoring. I was like,
Hey, he was on your story. Griff.
I retract that, by the way.
Who the hell would have scored back then? 2020.
I have a guess, but I don't know if it'd be right.
I know. Oh, Jesus Christ. Let's go for Ryan Christie.
That was my guess.
Calum McGregor.
Right, come on,
So,
geezer.
to see if you can take a 1-0. So, stats have been taken from LiveScore.
Right.
We have played Partick Thistle a total of 29 times. But what is the record?
Okay, now it's 29 times since when? Because that can't be right, that.
So it dates back to 2002.
Right, okay, right, that makes a lot more sense.
Aye.
And so what was the question, how many times have we won?
Right,
So
what's
it's
the
just what is
record?
your
So how many
record?
wins?
Oh, 29, I'm going to say Celtic have won... I can't remember Thistle ever fucking beating us, you know that? So I'm going to say we've won 27 and drawn 2.
We've won 28 and drawn 1.
Marvellous, fucking marvellous. No fucking, it can be 1/2 something like that. Oh, Christ.
That was one
See, I
half
was
of
going to say, I did debate putting it in, but then I thought,
That's fine.
but then I
This
felt
is
bad
challenging.
because that one you could have done within one, but then I felt bad.
No, it's
if I
fine.
left out an
Let's aim it
offset.
again.
How many questions have we done?
2.
There's only 2.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been rang more than twice.
So question 3. Oh, fucking hell. So that's fucked it with what I've previously said.
Oh, no.
Fuck off, Cam. I don't know why. Because I was reading the last question.
Give him the own goal. Or the open goal.
In the last round of the Cup, who did Partick Thistle face?
Air United.
That's my bad. I do apologise, right?
It's all right.
Right,
It's fine.
right.
It's all right. Bradley Walsh does it sometimes.
Oh no, I've really fucked it.
Need to know how to keep your mouth shut.
I know. I don't know why. See, because when I've read it, I've been looking at a different set of questions.
Aye, right, go on.
Then followed up with, so it was there, but what was the scoreline?
2-0.
There you go. Aye, right, so
Well,
there
at
you go.
least
It's
for
balanced
even-
itself.
Aye,
Aye.
you know what, that worked too alright. I
Balance
suppose
itself,
that.
right.
A wee confidence boost to get a point on the board. Get back, we showing this quiz, man.
So this question, obviously now, goes to Sunday's game. So it's back to Kieran, sorry, City. Which Celtic player had the most touches against Kilmarnock?
Honestly, don't know, but averages makes you think centre half, but I have no idea. Tonetsky.
Scales.
Liam Scales.
It's always Scales.
100
Scales is the answer every week.
As soon as
He's
you
up
said
there.
I
centre
could-
half,
I
You
couldn't
should have-
even mind
Scales,
the centre half
I think
pyramids for the weekend.
Scales leads that metric every single week. Like it's always Scales.
it was Liam
I was more
Scales
scared
with,
to see a centre half that didn't play on.
with 116. Second to that was Carter Vickers, 108.
Aye.
So Ryan, to see
Yes.
if you can take a 2-1 lead here. Question 4. Which Celtic player actually had the least amount of touches and that's within the starting team, so no substitutes.
Right, okay, so start. I feel like Maida didn't even touch the ball at the weekend. I'm going to Maida.
It was
Aye.
with 18 touches.
I don't remember him being on the ball at all. I genuinely don't.
That was because I thought if I included subs in that, it's a bit of a pain. So I thought starting lineup since
obviously the goal was
City was
outstanding. You know what I mean? But
so Kieran,
2-1.
your final question here.
Come on.
To yourself, see if you can get yourself into 2 each. Who was the last player to play for first team football for both Celtic and Partick Thistle?
The last player, like the latest.
Yep.
Played for Thistle.
Tony what?
Was indeed currently playing there.
See, I
was worried there was going to be like
I did a
B-team player.
No, it's actually I made sure it was only first
I
team.
would have never ever have got that because I would have done it the reverse way about, and I'd have looked for players that played for Thistle first and then came to Celtic. So I'd have been there. I'd have passed them that.
That's why I made sure it was first team because there's been a few that have been like B team. Yeah, so that's how I made sure that.
I need this then.
So I need this to see if you can take a win. For this one, I will give you within 5 because this one is a bit more rangy.
Right.
Current Partick Thistle manager Mark Wilson,
Right.
Ex-Celtic player.
Right.
How many appearances did he make in the hoops?
Now, this is interesting because I'm pretty sure I used him as an answer in the darts game, but it was only league appearances. I think I did. And I'm pretty sure
overall.
in league appearances he was around the 100 mark. I'm pretty sure it was like roughly about 100 league appearances. I might be completely wrong. I might be talking utter shite, but I feel like it was. So if we're going all competitions, you go Europe and the cups and that. I think he's probably closer to the 200. I'll go 178.
106.
All right, well, I just stuck with it. If I said 101, I'd have fucking go at there. So I must have been talking shite with the league. Couldn't have made 100 league appearances then. It must have been like.
So what were 2 each?
2 each.
So we went to the tiebreaker then. So this one again, I'll give to whoever's closest off it. But don't do that one. Somebody says an answer and you go one up and down.
But what is it? If it's a number, do I count down for 5?
Yeah, so I'll do.
Okay, right.
So the question is, this is of all time.
Right.
How many players have played for both Celtic and Partick Thistle?
Christ almighty. Right.
This is of all time between both clubs.
Right. I've picked a number.
Right, same.
So it comes down to whoever's closest in this one we'll go for.
Yeah.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
27.
I did not hear what both of you just said.
I said 46.
I said 27.
Even though it's miles off it, I win of this weekend. I swear, I suppose time is up. It's Kieran Auld. The answer is 104.
Wow. Christ. See, because I was caught in that whole thing about years. Obviously, for years there would have probably been plenty.
Aye.
But I just didn't know what to.
Yeah, see, the only reason I said 46 because when I made my guess, it was
At 46.
I was stuck between two. Of being like, right, it's either going to be loads because of the olden days, or it's going to be nowhere near as many as I think because there wasn't that many that made it to Sellik or whatever.
Yeah.
I was clearly the wrong end of the spectrum. Well done, Kieran.
It's nice to get some points.
Free clear at the tap, I think.
Is it?
Yeah, free clear at the tap. So brilliant. Good quiz as well, Cal. Enjoyed that.
Very good
Enjoyed that. Right, we're going to fire off and get the Thunder Club done quickly. So thank you for tuning in this week, everybody. It's been a pleasure as always. We'll be back to review our first game against Crvena Zvezda on Thursday. So check us out then. Until then, take care. We'll see you next time.